Hey YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now today I'm going to be showing you a part 2 to a video I did back in November of last year. And if you go on my channel and look at the top selection of videos here, which is my uploads, and then flick back to here, you'll see this video, Mars Dockside Wall and Coral Spotted. Okay. Now what I'm going to be showing you today is the same area, but we have closer and better detailed images of the ridgeline where these strange formations are, which look very much like coral. Okay, so I do recommend you watch that. In fact, I'll put a link up in the corner now for you to click on, and you can watch that and then watch this, or you can watch that after, and I'll also put a link to it at the end of this video. There'll be a card link to this video and a few other similar videos that you can click on as well to watch, which correspond to what I'm showing you today. Okay, so you can do that quite easily, or just go on my channel and flick back and find it there. Okay, and it's the one with the yellow Mars writing on the front. Okay, so let's crack on with it. Now I've got 3 gigapans for you here. We have the first one here, which is Sol 3687 Curiosity Rover. I've got 3688, same rover, same area, and the best one is this one, which is Sol 3689. Okay, and I'll first show you this one. Now in this one we've actually got some colour data here of this ridge, and you can see rows of these barnacles or coral on this ridge at the back here. Now in the colour one it's not as good detail as the black and white, but you can see them there. Unfortunately the colour images are more compressed and there's less detail in these. They're more damaged, and even though I've repaired the image, the detail isn't as sharp and clear. They're over compressed and damaged images. Okay, I can't help that. I do my best to clean them up, but you can still see these things fairly clearly here, and there's a good example of them here. They're like little acorns or cups here. Okay, the group of them there, right? And there's some pretty good detail down here as well, and there's what looks like some coral here. Now in the second one, this is 3688, we've got black and white image, better detail and closer, and you can see the same things again from a different angle. Okay, and there's a really nice bit of detail here where you can see these little cup shapes. They're hollow here and they're in clusters, and what I've done a colour filtered version of that part, and you can see them really clearly here. Okay, these look like acorn barnacles or something similar, or the Mars equivalent of, okay, a type of coral or primitive sea or marine life. Okay, this was a lake bed, so there was plants here, there were fish, there were boats, there were people on the boats, there were moorings. I do actually think what we're looking at here is a dockside, or at least the edge of the lake, because we have much more eroded material at the top here, which is all kind of flattened and wind eroded away, and then suddenly we have all this detail. I think a lot of this was underwater until possibly 50,000 years ago or 500,000 years ago. I don't know exactly, maybe much further back, maybe millions of years. And the reason why we got a lot more detail here in this lower area is because it's more sheltered, and I think a lot of this was underwater for a long period, much longer than this up here, and is less eroded. Okay, which is why we see this complex detail here and not further up here where it's all kind of eroded away. All right, now this one is my favorite, because in this one we got a really good close-up of some coral here. This is 3689. We've got a big lump of coral here, fossilized coral or petrified coral. And you can see these little cup shapes in here, little circles, cup shapes. And it's very similar to this over here. We've got rows and rows and loads of clusters of these little cup shaped barnacles. Okay, you can see them here. You can see them right around here as well. All along here, there are loads and loads, thousands of them. Okay, there's loads here, there's loads on this rock here, and they go all the way along this area, okay, right round. And this ridge, this part of what I'm calling the Dockside, goes for hundreds of meters, goes right round. We're at the base of Mount Sharp, and further up here is the mountain behind. If you go back about 500 yards from here and up, you're at basically on the mountain, which goes right up above Gale Crater and is about 5,000 meters high. Okay, it's pretty big, but we're right at the bottom, and this was a lake for the water at one point. And we can see all these different types of coral and barnacles on the rock, encrusted in clay, sediment, and fossilized and hardened, okay? Or concretion, as NASA would call this. They would just say, oh, it's just concretion. But concretion on what, exactly? Okay? This, I think, is a very good example of what is similar to Acorn Barnacles. Now, on the right here, we have a clip from this Gigapan, which I've colorized and sharpened up and brightened a bit. And you can see a cluster of them here and here. And here we have, on Earth, some Acorn Barnacles. This is on a post, I think on a wooden post here. And this is the same breed of barnacles on a rock. And you can see clusters of them in a very similar pattern and very similar shapes, in these little cup shapes, okay? See these little cups here? You can see the little cups here, okay? So we have almost an exact match. Now, if any of you out there can find some better Google images of barnacles or coral that match even better the way these are clustered, because they're not spaced exactly the same. These are more evenly spaced. These are more clustered tightly together here. And these are sort of semi in between, okay? Some of you may be able to find some better comparative images on Google Images or somewhere online. If you do find an image or two that's reasonable and shows exactly the same sort of formation, could you please put it in your comment below the video, and I'll put it on this image. I'll re-upload this and stick it on here, okay? I mean, these are pretty close, but they're not exactly the same. A lot of the things we see on Mars are very similar to the things we see on Earth, but they're not exactly the same. If there was panspermia, which a lot of scientists say there probably was from Mars, then life on Earth probably started from Mars via a meteorite or whatever coming from Mars and hitting Earth with genetic material on it, which then seeded Earth, perhaps, which may explain why a lot of the things we have on Earth are very similar to what was on Mars. And we see lots of remains on Mars, which are very similar to ours, okay? So clips coming up in a second. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll leave you to look at these yourself. There's loads of detail in here. You can see these pretty clearly, and I've put comparative examples as well. There's also this weird formation here with a kind of ball on the end, which is like about 1 millimeter thick, holding that, which is crazy. You can see the shadow underneath there, look. And there's loads of weird things like that in the area. So thanks for watching, everybody. Clips coming up now.